Contact between top contenders Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain off turn 4 puts Bell into the wall late in the race. Brett, spot on, spot off.
Casey, I'm actually spot off for this for a different reason. Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain were running first and second when they pitted. They exited pit road. They actually swapped spots. Ross beat him off pit road. And they are a lot faster than the guys that are not on new tires. But you're catching the guy, Christopher Bell, who's running top 3 at the time, on the lead lap. Do I think Ross did anything wrong? No, not really. But to Freddie's point, this is a really wide racetrack. You've got your teammate with you behind you to draft and work together. You saw coming off of 4 that Christopher Bell was going to be very aggressive to try to maintain his spot on the racetrack. He was blocking, and he left. In my opinion, he made a huge error when he left that lane open on the top. I would have never advised my guy, nor if I were a race car driver, would I have thought it's a good idea to leave the top of the racetrack and break the draft on 2 lap cars. But I thought Christopher made a huge error pulling down. Obviously, when he pulled up, he squeezed Ross. Freddie and I were watching the replay together, and it almost looked like at the very end, Ross might have barely come down to catch his right rear. I don't know if that's true or not, but just based on the replay that Freddie and I were watching on an 8x10 TV through our binoculars underneath the scoreboard, that's kind of what we came to the conclusion of. But at the end of the day, man, Ross is really pressing the issue right here. And does he have to be? That's the question that probably is looming in the back of my mind. And Freddie and I had a conversation with Ty Norris before the race started outside of your suite, the Xfinity suite, and we actually were talking about Ross's approach to racing. And it's, I got to get the next 10 feet in the next 10 seconds. That's like Ross's mentality according to Ty. That's exactly what we saw right there. And if he'd have just been a little bit more patient, it might have had a completely different outcome. But I still think this wreck's on Bell. I think this wreck is Bell's fault all the way across the board. It completely screwed Trackhouse, though, for the rest of the day.
I think you have to look, and we've talked about this with Ross before, it's situational awareness, and there was none right there. That was a terrible job on Ross's part. Whoever's fault the accident was, we've seen it, and we've seen guys do this before, and I think Ross did hang a left into his right rear because he thought he was going to get squeezed in the fence. And that's like, you're not wrecking me, I'm getting you, and I'm going to keep my car clean. But the only thing that you can't have there if you're Ross Chastain is a caution flag, because when you have a caution flag right there, your race is over. Yeah, you're going to be the lucky dog, but now you're starting at the tail with, whatever it was, 35, 40 laps to go. You have just essentially ended your race. You've definitely ended Daniel's race because now he's got to wave around. He's going to be even further back than you are. But, you were one of the first guys to pit because they kind of had stayed out on that last caution, so they had less fuel than everybody. They had to come first. But you essentially, just by forcing the issue there with Christopher, you've ended any shot you've had at winning that race where you just came in the pits running second, and now you've just cost yourself any chance to win the race.
I was watching it as it happened and was shocked that it happened, but with as close as the racing was, and if you had a run to break the plane of the bumper, to me this wreck starts with Bell not getting a good run off the corner. You know what I mean? Like something happened in the middle of 3 and 4. I'm not sure what. But Ross had a run on him. I don't know if he was off pit road or whatever it was. But Ross had good enough run to get there. And if the guy has a good enough run to get there, you have to pick your lane and make him go to the lane you don't want to be in. You can't do this. Well, I'm going to block up here. Then I'm going to block down here. Now I'm going to block back up here again. And especially you got to look who it is. That if you do that, most guys are probably going to do that. You can't back out of a spot like that because that's Justin Haley. If we're racing like that, he's going to take that spot. He's going to try to get up there. You can't whatever he did to make him lose his momentum is the start of it. Second of all, you don't give up the preferred lane. If Ross dies at the bottom, that's fine. You can chase him down and side draft him. Well, when you get to turn 1, you're in the preferred groove at that point because every groove is a preferred groove with your car. So. But it's really good when you pin them down to the bottom and slow them down in the middle. But you just can't give up the right side like that. And a guy like Ross, Ross is still racing. As a race car driver, if we're racing and you leave that spot open, I'm going to take it. I'm going to try to drive up there. So you just don't leave it open.
At that point in the race, Christopher Bell had the fastest car on the racetrack. And it ended up right.
I think the 11 was better.
But even
the
though
11 was fast, but Christopher cleared a lot of cars in the center of the corner, just drove by.
he's
him.
fast, yeah. But
He was crazy fast. But let me ask you this: are you saying that Ross Chastain got the lucky dog right there?
Well, no, I don't think he did. He
was
was in
gonna say, 'cause he's
position.
involved in the
He was
accident.
in position to, but he didn't
Right.
get the lucky dog.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't get it right there.
But like, and people were going to ask why Bell was racing him so hard, being that he was a lap down. You're racing him hard in that position because you want to hold him up. Because if you let him go, the more time he can make up on you before you pit is going to, affect where you guys come out of the pit. So Bell's job there is
So
to
Bell
kinda,
hadn't pitted yet.
No.
Oh,
Bell,
that's
yeah,
why. So that's even worse in my opinion. You got a guy coming that's going to be faster than you. You said tires were faster, obviously a little bit.
Yeah.
When you come out, why even put yourself in that situation?
Well, you're putting the thing is, I would have. I agree with you guys both. Just take the top because we're right behind him.
Make him earn it.
So like we're right behind. We were right behind Ross. So if Ross goes to the bottom, we're not going to help Ross. We're going to pull up to Christopher and push
Exactly.
Christopher. So just take the top away from him. If he goes down there and clears you, he goes down there and clears you. But you just ended your day. To Brett's point, if he wasn't the best car, he was a top 3 car easily.
Yeah.
And you just
he
ended
had a
your
solid
day.
shot at still
Yeah.
winning that race.
It's just, you just can't let guy. I've seen it a couple times where people just more worried about the guy on the bottom. And we did it in the Xfinity race. Like Landon chased, I forget who it was, Noah or somebody
Yeah.
at the bottom, and left the whole top open for Josh Berry to drive around us. And I was like, damn, you got to protect that right rear.
Well, that's how I won a Xfinity race back in the other Brad. You had Kyle and Brian Vickers side drafting each other down the bottom. Brad comes off turn 4 on the high side. We're going to turn 1 3 wide. We're in the preferred lane.
Yeah.
But like you can't take the top, go to the bottom, and then go back to the top, especially with a guy with tires, and especially the guy that drives the 1 car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things mixed right there. Live to see another lap.
It was just bad situational awareness kind of all around.
I don't blame Ross. If Ross is on tires, he's got to go. I mean,
yeah.
and if you leave the door open, he needs. I would go through it too. If I'm on tires, you gonna let me hold you up? No, you're going. So I really can't. I can't blame Ross for having the urgency to go because that's when you make up your time. That's your chance. But you make your own luck. You are slower. You're blocking a guy that's very aggressive. This is a recipe for disaster.
Ross Chastain don't give a to her.
I'm
Takes
not
another
lifting.
stop.
If I've got tires. I'm passing you. This is my advantage.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you still
freaking
can't.
lifting.
Well, if you have to lift, if you don't lift, you have no chance at winning the race. If you wreck that guy there,
Why is that guy blocking multiple times?
it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
I
If
turn
Ross,
left. I
if
turn left
Ross
next time and
Does
just
not
take care of it.
If Ross causes a caution there, his race is over. Over. You have to lift. Even I know you don't want to lift.
I'm
but
not
you
lifting.
You have to lift. You
I'm
have
not
to.
lifting.
Okay, then you lose.
Okay, I
you
still
throw
got more.
away your chance. Why
I've still
are you
got-
not lifting?
Because I've got more wins than that guy.
But
anyway,
why are you
so.
not lifting? Because you want to get to the front and win the race. Well, you're not lifting for that. But now by not lifting, you've thrown any chance you have
I
of winning
can tell you
out the
this:
window.
Christopher Bell's not going to block 3 times in the same corner next time.
Maybe he will. But I told you what. You know what? It didn't happen. The Ross had no chance to win the race after that yesterday.
I really don't think that he's going. I'm not lifting either, though. If I've
That's
got
fine.
tires,
That's fine.
I mean, that's
It's stupid, is what it is.
it's stupid on the guy's part that's slower and in the way.
No, it's not. He's supposed to hold you up. That's his job right there, is to hold you up.
What's the common rule of blocking? You block once, right? You block twice.
I
what
didn't
happens?
know there was a rule.
Well, you said it before. You said how many times? If you block once, great. When you go to how does the guy get wrecked?
I just
When you
I
block
want to
twice.
see a full blown slow mo replay of this thing because there's a hell of a lot more room to the left than there is to the right. There's a wall on the right. There's 4 lanes and an apron out on the
Yeah,
left.
so when a guy's on the outside of you, you might want to use room on the left
Again,
and not
I think
the room
Bell.
on the
I
right.
think I put this wreck on Bell. I really do.
There's just no reason for
I don't
either
know
one
why
of
he
them.
leaves the wall.
There's no reason for either
I
one of the
just-
4. The
it's-
guy's got tires. You make it as hard as you can by running the preferred lane.
This is literally what we talk about sometimes. 2 guys going for the same spot. This is a racing deal.
I'm here for it.
I mean, look.
You just
the majority of people think that was Christopher Bell's fault, but I mean, Ross had more to lose right there.
a lot more.
It's time for you to sell your home and make that big move. Let our friends at OfferPad remove all the worry and hassle. Get started today at OfferPad.com.